So something you need to know about me is that I never learn. I never learn to not overcommit. And I really just want to highlight that here by showing you this situation. I figured it would be fun to do a TBR video. I haven't done one in a couple of months. And I figured that it would be a good chance for me to face the fact that I keep doing this thing where I just borrow a bunch of books from the library, even though not all of these are read. Not all of the ones that are on my shelf are read. So what we're going to do today is go through what am I currently reading, what have I committed to from the library, what's on my physical TBR, and try and figure out why I think that I have 36 hours to read every single day. So what am I currently reading? Stuff about climate anxiety. Specifically, things that are giving me climate anxiety. The first is a fiction novel called Camp Zero, which I believe one of you recommended. If so, thank you. I am enjoying it. It is very weird. This book, so far I'm about a third of the way through, and it follows two characters, Rose and Grant, who make it up north due to job opportunities in a world that is overheated. So being north is very, very desirable because in the north the temperatures are still kind of normal and survivable. So that's sort of the backdrop is this, that the climate apocalypse is slowly coming upon us, largely because of heat. And because we have the climate apocalypse happening, people are doing weird things. So we get these intermittent chapters that are narrated by a mysterious research group. They're narrated in first person plural, which I've never seen, which I can't recall the last time I've seen that, if I've ever seen that. And they're narrating the story of a group of women in a research base who find out that the government has no plan to actually get them out of there. And they're in a research base up north, and we don't really know what it is that they're doing. The novel is really shrouded in secrecy so far. So like I'm a third of the way through, and I can't even tell you how much of a plot is going on, because the basic vibes are that there's this compound that these women who don't know much about them are living in, and they have no ties to the outside world, they have no children, they're not married, like none of that. And they'll be abandoned, seemingly. And we know that they're geographically close, but we don't know when this is happening in time, relative to the main camp where Grant and Rose are. I keep trying to summarize this novel, but honestly, I have no idea what's going on. That said, I do recommend it because climate anxiety. But as I'm reading this, I also had the genius idea to pick up another monstrosity about climate, because why not? It's called The Heat Will Kill You First. So while I'm reading this, I thought, oh, you know what? I'm not anxious about climate change enough. I'm not anxious enough over the extreme heat waves we've been having all over North America, including here. I will pick up The Heat Will Kill You First. This book came out just a few weeks ago and includes data from 2020. I'm also about a third of the way through this one, and I'm listening to it on audiobook, and it is literally just a horror novel explaining why heat is so dangerous. What's really cool is the author takes a lot of time explain that we're not just talking about like temperature, we're not talking about discomfort. This is why heat is a killer. This is the mechanism through which it kills us, and this is sort of how the threshold between heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and death, what does crossing those thresholds look like? It is terrifying. If you want to be scared right now, I recommend this book. So that's something I'm reading. So then I figure, why not add more light reading to that? This is the Iliac Crest. I got it from the library about a month ago, and I only picked it up yesterday. I'm barely started, maybe 15 pages. This is a book that I saw recommended by one of my favorite booktubers, Emmy, and it looks really intriguing. It's a Mexican experimental novel, and let me read you the back. On a dark and stormy night, an unnamed narrator is visited by two women, one a former lover and the other a stranger, who ruthlessly harass him and claim to know his greatest secret. In increasingly desperate attempts to defend himself, he spirals deeper into a haunted past of disappearance and memory. Right now it's reading like a fever dream, like the first 20 pages or so are written like a fever dream, and nothing that isn't on the back has happened yet, but it's really enjoyable, and I am glad to finally have gotten my hands on this because I think this has been on my TBR for like a year and it's been impossible to find except physically at the library. Um, and if you saw my most recent vlog, you saw that when I went to the library to pick this up, I also picked this up. I'm so excited about this, so it ruins why I wanted to pick this up. This is by the author of Let the Right One In, which you may or may not have seen one of the two movies. There's an American version and a Swedish version of this wonderful vampire story, of this wonderful, dark, disturbing, creepy vampire story. And the book is like trigger warning everything, but amazing. I absolutely loved the writing. I read it over a year and a half ago. I remember reading it around New Year's a year and a half ago, and I could not put it down, and I was so horrified. And I'm someone who reads quite a lot of like horror, disturbing stuff, difficult themes. I like that kind of stuff, and just Let the Right One In did this amazing thing where it kept me really captivated and really empathic towards the characters as I watched them go through terrible things. It made me realize that I actually really like the vampire genre. I like the vampire genre a lot, only like this flavor of vampire genre. So what's exciting about this is it's a collection of short stories that includes a sequel to Let the Right One In. Very hyped about that, as well as a sequel to another book of this author's that I haven't read yet. I haven't read any other book of his, but I saw that the library has a bunch, and now I'm kind of invested because I really like the writing style. I find it very very easy to read, but very rich, really paints a very nice picture of Scandinavian woods and the creepiness of that. I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm very excited to pick this up super soon. So, and these are both due back at the library by August, I want to say 17th, August 17th. So I really need to read these. I need to read these like right now. Okay. And this is exactly the problem where I've overcommitted, because let's go back looking at my Libby. So what do I have to return to the library soon? Well, Camp Zero is due in 11 days, so I'm taking my sweet time with it. But I have to start and finish the audiobook for Salt Slow, which is a collection of short stories written by the same author who wrote one of my favorite books of 2023 so far, Our Wives Under the Sea. I have no idea what Salt Slow is about. I haven't looked up anything about it. I just know that I want to read it because I loved Our Wives Under the Sea. The audiobook's pretty short, so I feel like I can probably like knock it out, in a few days. I'm not too worried about this whole due in 5 days deadline, but don't love it. Let's take a look at what this is actually about. The collection of stories is about women and their experiences in society, about bodies and the bodily, mapping the skin and bones of its characters through their experiences of isolation, obsession, and love. Throughout this collection, women become insects. Dope. Feminist metamorphosis coming in. Men turn to stone. Yes. A city becomes insomniac, and bodies are picked apart to make up better ones. The mundane worlds of schools and seaside towns are invaded and transformed by the physical, creating a landscape which is constantly shifting to hold on to the bodies of its inhabitants. Blending the mythic and the fantastic, the collection considers characters in motion, turning away, turning back, and simply turning into something new. Okay, so the whole like metamorphosis theme sounds really interesting. I really liked the writing and the reflection on grief when I read Our Wives Under the Sea, so I'm very excited to see what Salt Slow will be about. And if you've been following my channel, you know that The House of the Spirits is on my list of 23 books that I want to read in 2023. That challenge is not going well for me, but hopefully I will touch this one. I keep mentioning this. I feel like I haven't read enough South American literature or like Latin American literature at all, so I've been making a conscious effort to pick some up, and because I really do enjoy it, especially when it's a family saga. No, I haven't read any Marquez yet. I'm intimidated. But I love a good family saga, and this just really, really seems up my alley, so I'm very excited. All my other loans are literally magazine loans, so at least there's that. I recently found out that my library has magazines, and I've been enjoying a few. National Geographic, I'm still on the fence about. I can't tell how good the quality of the articles is, / I'm too lazy to read it so far, but it's there. I've started it. The Simple Things is like lifestyle magazine. The Simple Things is a lifestyle magazine around like coziness and simplicity. It has some recipes. It's a little too waspy for me right now, but I'm giving a couple of issues a chance. But what I really love is The New Scientist. I'm absolutely loving The New Scientist. It's so, so good. So I'm absolutely loving The New Scientist. Every time there's a new issue, I'm just going through it. And the other day, I saw job ads in this magazine that were targeted towards people with PhDs in the life sciences. And I was like, oh wow, I am indeed the target audience. So if you don't know what The New Scientist is, it is basically a weekly magazine. This is not an ad, this is literally just me enjoying this. It's a weekly magazine that covers some general topic, like there will be 4 or 5 articles on a general topic. For instance, here it's AI, but also other noteworthy publications, recent publications in science. There's astrophysics, there's psychology, there's biology, there's immunology, there's healthcare. I'm really enjoying it. It's really fun to read. I've been replacing reading The New Scientist. I replaced doom scrolling with reading The New Scientist, or at least I'm trying to. When I have a big urge to doom scroll, I try to open the magazine instead. I only have this, like, I'm so caught up on The New Scientist, and I'm so excited for August issues. Every time my library is like, do you want the next issue? I'm like, absolutely, give it to me immediately right now, and it's hard to not read it. Like, I'm probably going to read this later today. And I really want to go through their back catalog. So that is taking up some reading time, but I find it so intellectually stimulating and interesting, and it's like just leading to good conversations. Let me know if you've read any of The New Scientist. I know that a lot of my viewer base are not scientists, but potentially you'd be interested in this. I don't know, it's really cool. I think you should try it. I think you should try it. It's really, really good if you can get your hands on it. All right, so now let's face this, what's coming up. So very often what happens with Libby holds is that Libby in like the middle of the night will be like, hey, this book is available. And I'll be like, I have too many. Suspend hold for 7 days, suspend hold for 14 days or whatever. Let it go to the next person, and then in 7 or 14 days or whenever it's next free, then give it to me. So that's what happened with Before the Memory Fades, which is the 3rd book in Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is a series I do enjoy, but that I need a big break from. And right now it's like, you're first in line, you can get it at any point. I don't think I'm going to read this in August. I think it might be like for cozy September, October evening, so I'll probably just keep suspending my hold. Killers of the Flower Moon, however, I have been meaning to read forever, and I don't know why it's not on my list of 23 books I need to read this year, because I have had this, I think, literally like for 5 years, and I still haven't read it. I don't even know where I got it. It's a used copy, but the price isn't inside, so I have no idea how this came into my possession. I just know that I've had it for a really, really long time. Notably because I remember a book club I was briefly a part of discussing that we might read it, and that's why I got this. And that was in 2018. Thankfully, there was also an audiobook, and one of the reasons I haven't picked this up is quite literally because I just find the font small and unpleasant to look at. And I just haven't, I haven't been huge on true crime lately. Yeah, I just haven't been huge on true crime lately. I feel like I've read the ones that I found interesting, but I have heard amazing things about this, and I think they're turning it into some kind of movie or something, so it's gonna be buzzing. So I want to be in the loop. Why not be in the loop? Let me in. Let me into the loop. So this is something I hope to read in August. We're just gonna call it there. Then my hold for hood feminism is gonna come in, which I am very excited about. I'm very intrigued by this book. And then yesterday I was literally looking at Fleabag memes, and I was like, wait, there's a book, isn't there? And now I'm tempted. And the hold isn't very long, but we'll see if I actually get around to it. I recently finished the 2nd book of this series. This is the 3rd book, and I'm not ready. The library already said, would you like it? And I'm like, no, it's a 29-hour audiobook. Like, I listen at 1.75 speed, but that's still like 18 hours of audiobook. I'm not ready to commit, and I'm not ready for this world to be over. So we'll see when I actually get around to this. Yeah, and then just I have a bunch of gray holes, as you can see. Moon of the Crested Snow, I think one of you guys recommended it to me in terms of a soft apocalyptic novel. Biography of X just looks really good and weird and intriguing. It's like a fictional post-mortem biography of a mysterious woman that someone was in love with, which, like, that's always fun. And it's kind of giving, for some reason, it's giving me like Anais Nin, Elena Ferrante vibes. I might be completely off base for that. Chain Gang All Stars, I'm so excited for, and I actually had borrowed it earlier and just didn't have time to read it because I had too many library books at once. But the short story collection by this author is impeccable. I finished reading the first omnibus of this series not too long ago, and I'm debating if I want to read the second omnibus. We'll see. The hold was quite long, so I just kind of went for it. I've been waiting for Braiding Sweetgrass for like months now. It is very, very popular. I'm 8th in line. 19 people are waiting at this library. And the reason my hold for Atalanta is so delayed is because, like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for more Greek mythology right now, but I feel like in the fall I will be. I feel like it's gonna come. So I'm not ready. Yeah, so as you can see, my Libby is a whole situation. Like, it's just a situation and it's mismatched. So the problem is that I have several books that have been like living on my bedside table that I haven't read yet, and that I really want to commit to actually. I want to start at least 2. I picked 4, and I want to start at least 2 in August. I think that's a good thing. So these are the 4 I've picked. And you've heard me talk about these before. First one's All's Well, which is about a woman with chronic pain. I'm one of those. I'm a woman with chronic pain who tries to put on a Shakespeare play. And weird stuff happens because Mona Awad wrote this. She wrote Bunny, one of my favorite books ever. I found it so funny. It's Heathers on crack, basically. So I'm very excited for All's Well. And I keep meaning to read it, and it just sits. It just hangs out on my bedside table, and I'm like, yes, I will get to you as soon as I finish the library books. And then it's just been hanging out there since like March. This has also camped out on my bedside table again since like March. I think it's mostly just because I loved Ruth Ozeki's other book, The Book of Form and Emptiness. I loved it so much. Like, it did things to me. It made me very emotional. I loved the writing. I annotated it a bunch. So I'm going into this with such high expectations that I'm like scared to pick it up. I think I'm scared because I'm scared it's going to disappoint me, and I'm not ready to have my heart broken like that. Yeah, I'm not ready. Or I'm going to love it and then I'll be heartbroken from that. So I'm just, either way, I'm not ready. I feel like I need to go like on a retreat to a cabin for like a long weekend to read this book and then be alone with my feelings. The movie adaptation has been on my watch list on IMDb for like, I don't know, 10 years or something. At this point, I've been meaning to read the book, I've been meaning to watch the movie, and I just keep not getting around to it. So it sits on my bedside table. It sometimes migrates between my living room shelves and the bedside table and back again, as I'm like, maybe not now, maybe yes, maybe not now. So I should probably pick this up. I think I mentioned I discovered that I like vampire books, and I have accepted that part of myself. I think I've come to terms with it. We'll see. So I have this. I got it when I was in the US a couple of months ago, and it looks really good. It looks really, really good. And it's the thinnest out of all these books, and I'm like, I should read this. It looks great. I should get around to this. Oh, there's a bookmark in here. It's from the White Whale bookstore from when I was in the US. I have a little vlog showing you the inside of that bookstore, and it's really, really cute. I highly recommend you take a look. Okay, so I have a situation that I just realized, like, even just from filming this video, and I was like, I will just show you the mess that is my Libby and my physical TBR. Help. Seriously, send help. This is, oh, it's so ugly. Oh, I'm making it straight. It's not going well. Help. If you have any advice on what I should prioritize, what you loved, if there's any titles here that you're like, actually skip it, it's secretly terrible, please let me know, because I have overcommitted. I have a situation and I don't know how to get out of it. What's on your August TBR? What's going on? What are you reading? What are you up to? Are you also overcommitting on the Libby app? Do you not know what the Libby app is and you would like me to tell you? If that's the case, let me know and I will make a video. It will happen. It's been really lovely to be making content again. It's always so fun to talk to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this chaos, and I will see you very soon for July wrap-up, book updates. Okay, I hope you read a really great book really soon, and bye.